Welcome to Deep Thought. Work to see the big picture. Now, I'm gonna tell you what. This week earlier when I talked about many people think their perception is universal, I used the two analogies. One was that of the reptile, and the reptile just basically see their immediate environment. They don't see beyond that. And then I use the example of being in a group of people, which is similar to ants. And your perception, you share with them, so you see what the group sees. But then there's the biggest level is the bird. The bird can fly and see the whole picture. You know, the bird can see everything around you. That's very key for anyone going through life. That's very key. Can you see the big picture? Not just the little part that affects you, which is most people, or affects the group, which is a few more people. But can you see every angle, good and bad? You know, can you see like that danger in following a certain idea? Or how like a certain set of beliefs can be a problem. Can you see that? How far can you go? That's a very key thing to understand. You got to see the big picture. The big picture. Like, okay, this is being recorded before the election results, right? This is being recorded, but as I'm personally looking at, I don't know who's. Trust me, don't come in the comments saying, yeah, this person won, this person. I already know at this point, but I'm recording this before the election, and you know, I'm looking at the bigger picture. Even afterwards, I'm always looking at the bigger picture. I was like, okay, this person's in office. They got this. They trying to push these laws. What's the bigger picture? And the bigger picture isn't just the law or who's running the government or anything. But I was like, okay, how that's going to affect everybody else? How that's going to affect everybody? Or even beyond politics, how is a critical mass of people who practice a certain spiritual belief going to affect this particular area, a certain spiritual belief, or they also have a certain economic status? How's that going to do it? How's that going to affect this area? But more importantly, how's it going to affect me? How's all this going to affect me? And then, you know, how certain actions, reactions, movements, hashtags, how's that going to look? You know? How is people's viewpoints or understanding other people's viewpoints, how that's going to affect me, but how that's going to affect the community? Everything. How's everything touching everything else? You know, it's a holistic view of life. You got to look at the whole picture. You got to see the big picture. You know, it's like if some ants come across a pie at a picnic. Now, first of all, the main thing they're going to see is that aluminum pie pad. I always say it like that, y'all. That's one of those words up there for me with breast. So they see that aluminum pan first, and then they got to crawl over it, then the actual pie. But even then, they only seeing a part of it, right? Now, translate that to people. So a lot of times, we only see a part of what's going on. You know, it might be the part presented by the media. Really, it just comes down to the part that we're focused on. We see a small part of any situation, right? We see a small part, but we don't see the big picture. Like we can see if we look and just focus on our perception, just our thing, we're not expanding it. We see a little part of the scenario because it's what's affect us directly, which is nothing wrong with, but sometimes people get stuck there. But then, you know, if perception is joined with other people, then they'll see a bigger part of the picture or a bigger part of the situation because you got several people weighing in on it or giving their perception of it. You know, because even in situations where people have similar perceptions, everybody is still ultimately individual. But they only still see a part of it. They see a part of the pie. But what happens when they can be a bird and fly over everything and see everything? Then you understand. See, you might be looking at a situation or a movement or upcoming law or whatever and see a small part of it. See a small part of it and react to it. or feel like, well, we don't want to support that and everything because we don't see the big picture. We just see what's happening immediately, right? And, a lot of times we might get hurt because, it might look bad at first, but then you look down the road and he's like, well, wait a minute. You seen the big picture. This could turn out to be very good long term. Very good long term. Like when I'm looking at everything now, one thing I do, always look at the bigger thing. And trust me, right now, we're in a suffering mode with the COVID, the economy, and everything. We're in a suffering mode. They ain't, like I said, this was recorded before the election. I don't know who won, but the COVID hasn't gone away, and the economy is still jacked up, But you see that now. But I see a bigger picture, too. I see a bigger picture. I'll share that with you. With the COVID, they still working to deal with it. People still working, right? And, short term, we having some issues, but from this, we can learn maybe how to deal with some other stuff because, trust me, there's some other stuff we can really learn. We seen this. So we can say what can happen, right? And as far as the economy, well, a lot of stuff has gone out because what's happening is a lot of stuff is becoming more automated. Automation was already coming. See, when you see the big picture, you already see what was coming. Automation was coming anyway. Now, there's going to be a lot of people more motivated to automate some things because they don't have to worry about having people there. They can keep it running even in situations like COVID where they can't have the people on there. Trust me. Now, that looks bad at first. It could be bad for a while, but a bigger picture is other industries could get a boost. That's a bigger picture where the economy would get better because what happened is people change everything. Like even during COVID, now people saw people being, laid off and everything. And of course that's bad. And, even families breaking up, but some families have come together. Some people have looked into other businesses. Like a lot of people are doing stuff online now. When you get something like a Zoom or, video conferencing and stuff that's really exploded, that's something. Like you can create a whole school system. You can create seminars and everything. Something I was already doing right on there. You could teach from home and everything. So a lot of people are actually benefiting from it. And it's also, it's actually a lot of people have made money. Some businesses, just creating masks and everything, cleaning products. So something else is there. And then, to prevent this, no telling what industries get bigger, what practices, which can create money. Yeah, we're going through it now economically, but it never stays that way. Stuff always changes. Stuff always changes, even if, no matter what it is, but there's always a period where if you're not focused on the big picture, you just see the bad part. But if you focus on the big picture, you see all the possibilities. And indeed, the more skills you are at seeing the big picture, you could actually see the end of you can see the end of the road. You can see the end game, and you're just like, huh? Because I can tell you now, with everything happening, there's a definite positive end game. There's a very positive end game. Yeah, it's just a question of when we're going to see it. It's not going to be right away. We got a few years, but we'll see what's going on. But anyway, you want to work to always see everything. So in order to do that, yes, your perception is important, but you got to learn to take in other viewpoints and use them to your advantage. That way, your vision actually expands. Once you see everything, you can use that to make good decisions or great decisions on everything that you're doing. So I want y'all to think about that, and that's all I got. Peace and blessings, everyone.